My name is Eric. I'm 29, and until last year, I thought I understood what family meant, not the Hallmark version, but the kind you build your life around, even if it means carrying more than your share of the weight. I've always been the quiet, responsible son, the one who sends flowers and picks up the slack before anyone notices there is any. But I didn't grow up thinking I'd be the backbone of a family that made me feel disposable. That happened slowly, like rot under floorboards you don't see until it all caves in. Growing up, I was the middle child. My older brother Adam was the golden boy, varsity football, charming. My younger sister Mia was the princess. And me? I was the one with B+ grades who wasn't living up to his potential. I didn't mind. I kept my head down, got a scholarship, and started an IT firm that took off after 3 grueling years of ramen and 16-hour days. When I was struggling, they were silent. But when the money came in, I became family again. It started small. My dad asked for help with Adam's car payments. Then came Mia's tuition. My mom needed roof repairs, then a kitchen remodel. Just like that, I was paying for 3 households and still getting texts like, "Can you Venmo me for groceries?" At first, I was grateful I could help. I figured I was building a legacy. But the way they treated it like it was owed started eating at me. Last Thanksgiving was the turning point. I hosted because I finally had a home big enough. I had it catered and cleaned. Nobody offered to help. Adam made a toast about how lucky we are and how family always comes through, never mentioning I paid for everything. Mia barely looked up from her phone. My dad spent the evening talking about how kids now have it easy. I swallowed it with a smile, but inside, I was pulling away. The night that unraveled, it was a random Tuesday. I came home to a voicemail from my dad. His voice was sharp. He said, "All you do is take. You've never given this family anything worth remembering. If you had any pride, you'd stop acting like we owe you something and just leave." It stunned me. I played it again. "All you do is take." I didn't yell. I just stared at the message. Something inside me gave out, like an old hinge snapping. I packed a bag and left, no dramatic goodbye. I told my assistant to pause all outgoing payments tied to family accounts. A clean, silent break. 3 weeks went by. Radio silence. It took them a full month to notice. Mia was first, calling one Friday. "Eric, my tuition didn't go through. Did something happen?" I replied with one text, "Thought I never gave this family anything." No follow-up. Within the hour, I had missed calls from everyone. My dad's voicemail was dark. "Whatever this stunt is, it's not funny. Your sister's future is on the line. No apology. Just demands." I flew to Denver. I needed to feel like I'd escaped orbit. I stayed in an Airbnb, slept better than I had in years, and let the world spin without me. Back home, it fell apart. Mia faced withdrawal. Adam's car was repossessed. My parents' mortgage bounced. The foundation they'd built on my silence cracked. They told extended family I'd abandoned my responsibilities. But you can't rewrite a story when people know the truth. My cousin Emma messaged, "I'm glad you finally stopped being their safety net." I hiked in Boulder, unlearning the habit of bracing for someone else's disappointment. By the second week, my mom emailed, "Family doesn't abandon family." I stared at it. They had abandoned me every time they made me feel like a debit card with a heartbeat. I didn't reply. Instead, I told my lawyer to transfer the remaining tuition funds to a scholarship for students who actually needed help. I also checked the deed for the lake house I'd paid off for them. My name was still on the paperwork. I booked a flight back, not to reconcile, but to collect receipts. I drove to the house I helped renovate. As I walked in with my spare key, I heard them in the living room. "He'll come crawling back," Adam said. Mia wondered why I was doing this since it's not that much money to him. My dad grumbled that I was acting like money makes him special. I stood there, unseen, as they tore me apart like I wasn't the reason the lights were on. I didn't feel anger, just confirmation. I backed out quietly and drove to the lake house. I took pictures for the real estate listing and had my lawyer initiate the sale. On Monday, I sent one final message to the group chat. You said I never gave this family anything, so I'm finally giving you distance. No more tuition. No more repairs. I'm out. I blocked them all. Within a week, Mia was facing expulsion and my parents' bank called about the mortgage. I was on a flight to Tokyo. First class. No guilt. My phone stacked up with notifications of panic. In Tokyo, I wandered through temples, finally just being me, not a fixer. I eventually unblocked Emma. She showed me a Reddit thread where Mia was posing as a victim to raise money. I anonymously posted screenshots of the $90,000 I'd already paid for her. The post was removed for suspicious activity. Then came a legal-style letter from my dad requesting a meeting to discuss emotional equity in the lake house. My lawyer sent back the original agreement where Dad had relinquished all claims. He'd forgotten, or hoped I had. We filed a lien on their main house for an $80,000 loan they never repaid, forcing a sale. Emma said they were panicking. I told her I wasn't doing it for revenge, but for closure. They thought I was a faucet they could twist on, now they were learning what thirst felt like. The day of the auction, I sat in my car across the street. I walked through the home I grew up in one last time. I saw the dent in the floor from Adam and the stain from Mia. It was strange how little of myself I saw there. When my family arrived, they looked worn. Dad tried to corner me. You're going to humiliate your own family? I looked him in the eye. It's a pattern. And it ends today. Mia cried about her scholarship. I reminded her I paid for 3 years and she never said thank you. Mom whispered that families don't do this. I told her families don't take until there's nothing left. The house sold within the hour to a retired couple. I signed the papers and never looked back. 3 weeks later, they were evicted. They left piles of clutter and forgotten memories. I found a high school journal of mine full of goals to take care of my family. Funny how none of those dreams ended the way I thought. I donated the furniture and moved to a loft in a different city. The calls stopped. The bitterness faded. One night, watching the city lights, I realized they were never really a family. They were a system that only worked as long as I stayed silent and useful. Now, they had to learn how to stand without me. I eventually got an apology email from Mia. I read it, then archived it. I didn't need closure from them anymore. I already had it for myself. And for the first time, that was enough.